Welcome to EnduringTechnologyPress.com. I'm Eric, and I've resisted for a long time getting a stand mixer, one of the modern KitchenAids. Really, I wanted a Hobart, and Hobart spun off KitchenAid a number of years ago, but I wanted something that was much more industrial. And I finally found what I was looking for. And this is the original KitchenAid. It's the original Hobart that spawned that moniker, KitchenAid. This model is a C210, and I can't see a whole lot of difference between this and the C10. It looks like a little bit of the fittings on the motor are slightly different, but other than that, this is more or less the stand mixer that in 1918 was introduced by the Hobart company, and when it was trialed by some of the executives' wives, earned the moniker, it was the best KitchenAid out there, and that spawned, of course, the brand KitchenAid. Some of the things I like about it is, other than the fact that it looks timeless, it also is incredibly durable. It weighs about 90 pounds. Unlike the smaller KitchenAids, it is the full-size standard mixer. You can rack it up. It runs on the rails at the back of the pot. We've got fitted right now, we've got the beaters. It's got a reduction drive at the back. It's a 1/8 horsepower motor, and while I can use a phase converter if I wanted to go any larger, this is a single phase, easy to plug into the wall switch. It's got the accessory fitting at the front, really heavily built, really solidly built, and still works very nicely. We'll turn it on to give you an idea of that. Fit the, there we go. Turn it on. So that's on the slow speed. Unlike some of the more modern ones that have a much greater range of speed, this one has 3 speeds. That's 2. Quite a step up. And this is top speed, which again is even further step up in speed. One of the cool things I liked about it was it's got a 10-quart bowl, and that's more along the size range that I was looking for. Next step up from this in a similar model gets you to about 30 liters, which, you know, might be all right someday. But this will do for some nice batches of bread, buns, all the mixing for cakes and things like that, making up big loads of batter for the donut dropper, that type of thing. 10 liters is just about the perfect size range. And this has some really cool detailing on it. So I'll take the camera, I'll zoom in a little bit closer and show you what's there. Okay, so you can see underneath, the head here is connected to the frame by these 4 bolts. So you can see how it was cast, and then the top part with the motor can be separated from your gearbox. You've got a reducer assembly here. Your motor comes out 1/8 horsepower, 1725, and then you've got your gear reducer back here that then feeds into your gearbox. So a really nice, cool modular assembly, and this has to be one of the neatest things. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it says, important, motor must be stopped before shifting gears, 1, 2, 3 speeds. Look at that nice lettering. I mean, not typical, something you'd see now. Nowadays, you probably see a warning from the lawyers that doing this could irrevocably harm you, may lead to death, dismemberment, that type of thing. You've got the accessory attachment at the front. It's missing the cover, but I'll machine one of those up. On the motor, some of the lines have been switched, and I'll have to cover those up. But you can see these cool, it's a drip-proof motor, and you can see the drip-proof assembly in there. How they fitted this. The oilers are in themselves almost a work of art. The ones for the motor cool there, and you've got your snap cap boiler at the front. So overall, a really, really cool piece of kit. As with some of the smaller commercial ones that don't have the geared motor, you can use the handle to ratchet up the pot, and that pot runs on these slides back here. You can see you can disassemble that with a couple of screws. So I've got some more pictures on the EnduringTechnologyPress.com website. You can see the link below, and you can also get an idea too of other things, like this is actually pinstriping. It's a bunch of pinstriping on the motor too that hasn't worn off, you know, and on the frame. That's not something you'd see typically done. I'm sure it was done by hand. That's a little bit labor intensive for anything in the modern world. But because the paint's chipping off, I think I'm just going to do it, repaint it in black, gloss black, to update it a little bit. But that's the stand mixer.